Hello, and welcome to our webinar, Microsoft Copilot for Security, Harnessing the Possibility to Power. So my name is Christopher Sim. I'm a Senior Vice President of Cloud Consulting, a professional services division at Bulletproof. And today I'll be joined with my colleague, Matt McBride, who is a SOC security analyst as well as a security Copilot Ninja, who operates out of our Security Operations Center. So this webinar, we'll be looking at some of the exciting capabilities of Copilot for Security. We'll be looking at and discussing items within the cyber crime landscape, privacy and responsible AI, what is Copilot for Security, how Microsoft positions Copilot for Security Advantage, a quick walkthrough on Copilot architecture, and understanding some of the prompts. To tee it up, we're going to dive then into a very exciting demo with Matt, who will show off the features, capabilities, and differences between the standalone and the embedded experiences. And then we're going to finish off with a bit of our better together story and go into a Q&A session for our live attendees here. So with the digital economy, we're facing an alarming reality of consistent outsider attackers as well as insider risk attackers, where the overall percentages of cybercrime is at a staggering growth number, even much bigger than our Canadian economy of 2.1 trillion GDP, which is not even on the screen. But compared to the staggering other three biggest economies, right, the GDP is growing at a staggering pace that is very lucrative and positioned well for cybercrime to be at its peak where it's at currently. So for us as cybersecurity professionals, what does that mean for us? And how are we going to adjust to this growing scale to keep our businesses safe, as well as being able to think about elevating our skill sets around new tools within artificial intelligence or our AI defenses, because essentially, the security mantra is it takes a human to catch a human, yet we need AI to help us catch attackers using AI. So with the common saying, we just don't have enough time. So within cybersecurity, we have these constantly new challenges and the numbers are staggering. So just alone, and to give some brief stats here, right? Microsoft has detected that these numbers have almost tripled in the past year, going up from about 1,300 seconds to now more than 4,000 per second. And the median time for an attacker to access your private data has fallen to just under or just above an hour to be able for you to fall victim to a phishing email. So for us defenders, we're simply outmatched. Attackers have more resources, right, than ever before, and they don't play by the same rules. So all of that with the common analogy of we have a global shortage of cybersecurity professionals, right? We have to be able to leverage the new tools and innovations that are coming into our market. So first, let's kind of talk about the security, the privacy, and the compliance controls of Copilot for Security. Microsoft has set a standard for security, privacy, and compliance when it comes to AI. And this is not just for Copilot, but for all of their AI offerings. And the important piece here is your data is your data. And your data is stored, in the tenant and the region that you choose, and that data is always encrypted at rest. Your data is not shared, and overall, the access to your data is governed by the Microsoft's certification bodies that they use to keep them regulated and balances checked, either from ISO or the systems and organizations control from a SOC 2 type 2 perspective, is being all checked and balanced and in place. So as you look to enhance your data sets and your components, you can leverage components such as AI search within your environment, but just remember that your data is not trained on any other foundational models that is being leveraged within the ecosystem here. So now let's talk about responsible AI. So Microsoft's belief in leveraging responsible AI, right, has a framework that's kind of backed behind it to give us the framework and foundational pieces to keep these considerations in mind. So the 6 core principles that we should consider to guide and work around is privacy and security, inclusiveness, accountability, transparency and fairness, and reliability and safety. So these are the core principles, but that's just not enough to just define these. We need to be able to integrate and operationalize them at scale within our businesses. So we can focus on core 4 key areas to help put these principles into action. So first, we have the governance aspect, and think of this as the written tasks and components that you have within your organization that you should be following. So this is your governance aspect. The second piece is the rules to standardize the AI components or your AI requirements. Third, you're going to need the training for your team, and this is going to be a collective around best practices across the partner ecosystem, as well as with Microsoft, to keep providing your business with the right areas and right components so that way your team can be upskilled as fast as you need them to be. And then fourth is going to be the tools for implementation. So the key thing here to remember is when it comes to data, right? Copilot for Security is not Chat GPT. It is separated, right? And it is grounded in the unique context of your organization where, your data is your data. So any question that you ask, the answer will be based on what is happening in your organization at that moment. So together with that, you can also get the leading threat intelligence data and signals through prompting, and the security trained orchestration that understands the security context is going to help to kick that off to be able to provide you with the results and the answers that you are prompting or asking your AI model to deliver to you. So to simplify this, in a closed learning loop, right? This is where things that you are prompting it and teaching it, the context is going to stay within that model, and it's going to continue to improve as you provide your Copilot engine and model the relevant data that suits your organization. So now here, Copilot for Security, right? It's going to help increase the efficiency, the capabilities, right, of security professionals, but not just to improve security, right, at machine speed and scale, right? Copilot for Security spans across security, compliance, management aspects from posture management, identity workloads, right, which can result in value in different areas. Right. And Copilot for Security is, Microsoft's first generative AI security product to help defend organizations at the speed and scale that is at our fingertips right now. But it's also combined with the GPT-4 model from OpenAI, which is the ability in the large language model. So it can compute at billions, if not trillions, of data points in natural language, so you can be able to ask it and receive back the insights that your team and organization is looking for here. And as a partner, so Bulletproof, as a managed security provider, we were part of the private preview and early access partner program to be able to work with the product and understand its advantages and abilities to be able to bring our offerings and the capabilities to market, so we can also help our customers unlock their value and defense much faster. Now, as we can see with the personas here, right? Copilot for Security is not just for security analysts, but for other IT administrative roles within your ecosystem. Whether you have specific identity admins, compliance or purview admins, records and data management admins, right? The idea here is security posture, security and compliance configuration, right? As well as incidents, threat intelligence, and other key areas to better bring together the understanding and the ability to help your team, orchestrate what are the areas of weaknesses within our environment, as well as to supplement and augment, providing that key assistant to your administrators so they can help to unlock areas of their day-to-day tasks and activities to, better provide defense as well as management within your organization. So Copilot for Security, right? This is an area where it's going to provide, your analysts to, move a little bit faster when it comes to, questions that they have in regards to your tool sets, right? Providing, a shorter time to detection and response, as well as, more focus for them to take those responses to drive more higher value tasks, postmortem of any of the activities that they're uncovering. And another area that we're seeing is exponential gains in productivity, right? Simplifying the complex. One specific capability where we are seeing, an immense value is also within the Kusto query language or KQL translation, right? Analysts don't have to write complex scripts for certain tasks like threat hunting. Instead, they can simply ask a question in natural language and take into consideration a lot of the best practices around creating prompts to then be able to get back the right answer and results that they're looking for to help them expedite and accelerate their analysis and their response based on either the incident alert, posture management, or inquiry that they have to be able to get the results much faster. And what we're finding is, junior analysts, right, are now able to unlock other capabilities much faster than having to rely on their senior resources of constant mentoring and escalation. Where if your junior analyst can gain the confidence and the capabilities of resolving some of the more mundane repeated tasks over and over again, that again frees up your senior analysts or administrators to be able to provide a lot more value in other areas within the organization. So when we combine all these components, plus with the threat intelligence that's back behind it, right, this is going to help to uncover things that might have been missed by a manual check or balance within your operations. And this aligns to the whole concept of alert noise fatigue, right? Especially when the alert to false positive or true positive ratio is extremely high, right? If a junior analyst is unaware of what are the processes or components that needs to be put in place, and they have to rely on a senior analyst, they can simply prompt Copilot with the right prompt book to be able to uncover and get better results at a much faster pace. And lastly, just another point here is we're witnessing upskilling, effects among our administrators across the board. So kicking off from our early access preview, right? We're noticing that a lot of the daily tasks are now becoming a lot faster in terms of, providing more strategic value to the posture management, policy management, and incident management, meaning our team is also being able to uncover more proactive activities than reactive activities. And just to kind of give some insights here, so when we look at the threat intelligence graph here, just a quick little insights on, right? Microsoft is the biggest vendor when it comes to all of the Defender threat intelligence that is brought into one particular ecosystem here. And this amount of data, with over 65 trillion daily signals, right? This is going to help to provide Copilot for security better insights around summarization, right? Understanding if a specific IP address is suspicious or not, as well as you can also integrate into, why is that IP suspicious? And Copilot for security can easily call upon the Defender threat intelligence insights and data sets to be able to provide you with more clear connections or correlations of, is this a known threat actor? Tools that may be used even across the MITRE attack framework, as well as other suspicious infrastructure components. Right. And now, just to kind of jump into the architecture here, to give you the bird's eye view on how things are working in the back end. Because from a simplistic perspective, the end user may just be sending in a question, but not really understanding what's under the hood. But to kind of take a quick walkthrough on, the architecture, and just to give a brief on the pre-processing and post-processing. So first, a user is going to prompt from one of the security products, the embedded experience or standalone experience, and this is going to be sent to Copilot. Copilot then starts to access the plugins for pre-processing. And this is where the plugins, where you have the ability to enable native Microsoft plugins, third-party plugins, or custom plugins to look for the specific data sets. And this again is all within the trust boundary, but you can choose where you want to pull that pre-processing from. And some examples here, from a third-party perspective, such as ServiceNow or Splunk, and get the relevant data for the questions that you're asking. Third, right, Copilot is then going to modify that prompt to have it understand within its large language model, and within an LLM, right, large language model, it's going to use its token understanding based on the prompt that you provide to then 1/4 bring back the response back to the user. And then after the response is brought back from the large language model, Copilot then again accesses the plugins for post-processing, and then a response is finally brought back to the end user, where now that command can be placed back into the security product, or an analyst can then take those results and generate a report, maybe copy the information out, export it, or be able to perform their next level of remediation based on the recommendations or insights that were provided to them. So just another way to quickly summarize, the architecture here is when you ask Copilot, right, in natural language, right, and you're providing that query to perform an activity, just remember that there's lots of sophisticated processing and computation that's taking place under the hood. And for you as a end user, it's going to be really simple. Simply just submit a prompt and receive a response. And if the response is, not relevant the first time around, please try again. But think about using more accurate context, right? Have a goal in mind, have a source, have your context, right? To be able to to better return the results that you're looking for with one prompt, instead of maybe smaller prompts over and over again that will drive the security compute units, or the SCUs, within Copilot for security. And of course, this may be a lot of information all at once, but essentially, as a partner, right, Bulletproof is here to help you. We are AI ready, and we're always looking to continuously provide the information and feedback back to our customers and ecosystem. So with all that mentioned, let me hand it over to Matt, who will be able to jump into some of the exciting aspects of the demo, and he'll take you through his journey.
Alrighty, so hi everyone, my name is Matt McBride and I'm a cybersecurity analyst for Bulletproof Solutions. Today I'm going to be showing you some of the really awesome capabilities that Copilot for Security has to offer. Okay, now before I begin though, I do want to stress the fact that Copilot for Security is not designed to replace your security analysts. Okay, it's simply designed to help assist your security analysts in providing more accurate and more thorough investigations in a more timely manner, okay? Because as we all know, time is extremely important in the cybersecurity world, okay? So, Copilot for Security. So, Copilot for Security offers two different experiences, okay? There's the embedded experience as well as the standalone experience, okay? So, with the standalone experience, this is where the main Copilot prompt is going to reside. Okay, so this is going to be where you ask Copilot all your burning questions. Okay, now with the embedded experience, Copilot for Security is embedded or implemented inside of your Microsoft Security Stack products. So whether that be Defender XDR, Purview, Intune, whatever Microsoft Security Stack products you have implemented inside your organization, Copilot for Security can be embedded inside those products that security analysts can use. Okay, so let's jump into it. Okay, so this is the standalone experience. We're gonna do the standalone experience first. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the main standalone experience portal. Okay, and as you can see here, this is the main Copilot prompt. So as I said before, this is where you're going to be asking Copilot all your burning questions. Okay, so before we run through our first example prompt, I do want to go over sessions. Okay, so you may ask, what is a session? Well, a session is essentially just like your work. Okay, so when you run, so the more questions that you ask Copilot, okay, it's going to be saved inside of a session. So everything that you do is saved inside of a session. So we're going to say, for our first example prompt, we're going to do, tell me about incident 883. Okay, press enter. Now this is our first example prompt. Okay, so what this is doing is it's starting our first session. Okay, and everything that we do from here on out is going to be saved inside of our first session. For this example, it's going to be called Tell Me About Incident 883. So we can rename that, so we'll call it First Session. Okay, so you may ask, well, why would we want to save our sessions? Well, we'd want to save our sessions because maybe we want to go back and look at our previous work that we did on a particular incident, or maybe we want to share this particular session with my boss, because maybe my boss asked me to provide them some I don't know, maybe some proof of what I was doing with a particular incident. Okay, we can simply share this incident with our boss by clicking the share session button here at the top. Okay, so we just initiated our first prompt. Okay, so tell me about incident 883. Apologies, I spelled that wrong. Now, what Copilot's doing in the background is it's looking at where this incident is coming from. Okay, so it's going to be looking at its built-in plugins like Entra or Defender. Okay, so So Copilot has determined that this is a Defender incident of high severity, okay? And there's 9 alerts associated with this incident, okay? And as you can see here, there's a nice little summary of all the alerts that are associated with this particular incident, okay? So as you can see here with number 7, there's some Bloodhound post-exploitation tool, okay? So let's pretend we're not very sure of what Bloodhound is, okay? Well, the good thing is with Copilot is we can simply just ask it, what is Bloodhound, okay? So as you can see here, Copilot for Security has determined that this is some type of tool designed to map out Active Directory. So it looks like it's some type of enumeration tool that's used against AD, okay? And it's also used to help attackers gain better attack vectors, okay? And and Copilot also provides some key points related to Bloodhound and a little summary and description, okay? So what if we're not really sure where to go from here, okay? We're not really sure how to remediate this incident, okay? So the great thing is with Copilot is we can just simply ask, provide me with some recommendations, okay? Now, Copilot has finished processing its response, okay? And it's saying, sorry, I am unable to provide a specific guided response. Now, going back to what I said earlier about Copilot not replacing your security analyst, well, this is a good example why, okay? Because Copilot didn't give us a direct answer as to how to remediate this particular incident. It did, however, provide us with some really great general recommendations that the security analyst can then follow up on, okay? So this can really give the analyst some really great ideas onto how to remediate this incident from their current stance, okay? So now that we've run through some really basic example prompts, I want to get into something called a prompt book. Now, you may ask, what is a prompt book? Well, a prompt book is essentially a collection of individual prompts that are put into one, and they're run one after the other, okay? And we'll get into an example here in a minute, okay? So to access our prompt books, we're going to access these from the Copilot prompt, right? So we're going to go here and we're going to click on this prompts button, okay? So we click on that and we're going to go all the way down to the Microsoft built-in prompt books, okay? So let's say, for an example, we were doing some threat hunting and we came across this threat actor group, Storm 1113. So what if we wanted to find some information about this and maybe some defense mechanisms that we can put in place to help us defend against this particular group? Well, we can easily do that by using this prompt book called Threat Actor Profile. Okay, so we're going to select that. We're going to say Storm 1113, click enter, and our prompt book is starting to run. Okay, so what this prompt book is going to be doing is it's going to be getting a profile summary of this particular threat actor group, which is Storm 113, and include an executive summary for this group. Okay, it's also going to run a summary of the TTPs of this threat actor using MITRE attack techniques. Now, TTPs are tactics, techniques, and procedures. Okay. It's also going to provide us with some threat intelligence articles that are related to this particular actor. And based off of these TTPs, what kind of mitigation or defense methods that can be put in place to help us defend against this group. And last but not least, this particular prompt book is also going to provide us with a summary of this threat actor, and it's going to include a executive summary. Okay. Now that the threat actor profile prompt book has completed, you can see here that it provided us with an executive summary, a detailed profile, and a summary of the TTPs of this particular group using MITRE attack techniques, as well as threat intelligence articles that may be related to this actor. Also, based on the actor TTPs, what are some good defense mechanisms that can be put in place, as you can see here. And again, a summary of the threat actor, and it also provides some insights into a executive report. Okay, so why would we use this particular prompt book? Why wouldn't we just ask Copilot ourselves all these questions? Well, the reason being is because running a prompt book like this is going to save a significant amount of time. Okay, instead of having to type out all these individual prompts to get the information we need regarding a particular threat actor group, we can simply just run that prompt book. Okay, so let's look at some others. So there's also built-in prompt books that will do an investigation for a particular Defender incident or a Sentinel incident. There's also a prompt book for script analysis and also vulnerability assessment. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into custom prompt books. This is probably one of my favorite features regarding Copilot. Okay, so let's get into that. So now that we've gone over some basic example prompts as well as prompt books, I now want to show you how you can create your own prompt book. Okay, it's actually very, very simple. So we're going back to our original session where we asked Copilot to give us a bit of information about incident 883, and then we asked it what is Bloodhound, and we asked to provide some recommendations. Now, let's say that I find myself running the same I find myself running the same prompts every time to remediate a particular investigation. Okay, so I find myself saying, tell me about incident, a random incident. Okay, and then I find myself asking Copilot to provide some recommendations. So on a daily basis, I find myself saying, tell me about incident whatever, and then I follow up with provide me with some recommendations. Now, instead of having to type those individual prompts out each and every time that I want to accomplish something, we can simply just create our own prompt book. Okay, so to do that, we simply just select the prompts that we want to add in our prompt book. Okay, so we have the provide me with some recommendations, as well as the tell me about incident 883. Okay, so to create our prompt book, we're going to click on this little button here, create prompt book, and up comes our create a prompt book window. Okay, so we're going to name it demo prompt book. Okay, and this is going to grab information regarding provides info for a particular incident and provides recommendations. Okay, so that's a little description of what our newly created prompt book is going to do. Now, as you can see here, it has our two prompts. Now, we don't want it to run tell me about incident 883 every time. We want to make it so we can enter in any value there, so any incident ID. Okay, so we can do that by clicking the edit button here, and we're going to take out 883, and we're going to create an input. Okay, so incident ID. So this is going to be the input for this individual prompt. Sorry. So we're going to save it. So what's going to happen now is when we run this prompt book called demo prompt book, it's going to ask us to provide an incident ID. Okay, and after we provide Copilot with an incident ID, it's going to run through this prompt. Okay, and then it's also going to provide some recommendations based off of this incident ID. Okay, and as you can see here, who can use this prompt book? We can do just me or the whole organization. Now, this particular prompt book would be good for any analyst, right? Okay, so let's create it. Okay, so now we want to test it, right? So let's test it. We'll go to our prompt books, and as you can see here, demo prompt book, we're going to select that. Now, instead of doing 883, let's do another one. Okay, so we'll go back into Defender just to look at some incident IDs. Okay, so let's do this anomalous token ticket here, so 1388. Okay, so we'll provide it 1388 and click enter. Now our prompt book has started successfully. Okay, and again, like I said before, it's going to run through tell me about incident 1388, not 883 or whatever it was before, right? Because we created an input for this prompt book. Okay, excuse me. Oops. Okay, so our newly created prompt book has finished processing our request. Okay, so it's saying that this incident is a anomalous token incident, okay, which matches what we have here. Okay, anomalous token involving one user. Okay, so it did grab the correct incident. Okay, And then it follows up with our second prompt that we added, which is provide some recommendations. And as you can see, Copilot gives us some really good recommendations into handling this particular incident. Okay, so that's your first custom prompt book. Okay. So now that I've shown you some example prompts, a prompt book, and how to create your own custom prompt book, I now want to steer away from the standalone experience and jump into the embedded experience. Okay, so for the first embedded experience, we're going to jump into Defender XDR. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a multi-stage incident, 9 alerts associated with it, and we're going to pretend for a minute that we don't have Copilot implemented. Okay, so I want to just run through how I would investigate this without Copilot. Okay, so naturally, as a security analyst, I'm going to look at the first alert inside this incident, which is an Apache exploitation detected alert. Okay, so we're going to click on that. We're going to navigate down to it, and here it is here, and it looks like there's some type of command. Okay, so how would we analyze this without using Copilot? Well, we'd have to copy and paste this into a text editor. Okay, and as you can see here, I already started trying to break down the code. Okay, now mind you, this is going to take a significant amount of time because this particular command is very big. Okay, so even when we have it broken down to make it a little bit more readable, we're still likely going to have to Google some things to determine what exactly is going on here. Okay, so this is going to take a long time. And remember, we also have to investigate these other 8 alerts that are associated with this incident. So again, this is going to take a very long time to investigate this incident fully. Okay, now with Copilot, we don't really necessarily need to do any of that. We don't need to copy and paste the commands to a text editor software like Notepad++ and break down the code to make it more readable. With Copilot for Security, we simply just go to the command and click on the Analyze button over top of the command. And boom, within seconds, Copilot has analyzed that whole command. Okay, so this is just proof how quickly an investigation can be while using Copilot. Okay, because again, like I said before, time is extremely important in the cybersecurity world. So Copilot is very important for incidents like these. Okay. So another cool thing that I wanted to show you within the embedded experience is that we can use Copilot to do some advanced hunting. Okay, so pretend that my boss reaches out to me and he says, Matt, I need you to find sign-in activity. I need you to find suspicious sign-in activity dating back the last 30 days. Okay, so let's just say that I'm not very familiar with KQL at all. Okay, I'm very new to KQL. I'm not really sure how to accomplish this task that my boss just gave me. So naturally, I could go to Google and do all kinds of research on how to create a KQL query. But that's going to take a significant amount of time. Okay, especially for someone that is not familiar with KQL. So we can simply just almost take the words right out of my boss's mouth and put it into Copilot. So create KQL query to provide suspicious sign-ins dating back 30 days. Okay, so we're going to click enter, and Copilot is now generating a response. Oh my god. Now, still from Defender, let's do some advanced hunting using Copilot. Okay, so let's say that I'm not very experienced with KQL queries. Okay, but my boss reached out to me and he says, Matt, I need you to look up. I need you to provide me with any malware-related incidents dating back the last 15 days. So how would I do that without Copilot? Well, I'm going to have to do a significant amount of research into figuring out how to even, process a KQL query that can accomplish that, right? But with Copilot, we can simply just ask Copilot exactly what my boss just asked me. Okay, so provide me with any incidents regarding malware dating back 15 days. Okay, so Copilot's going to generate a response, and it should spit out a nicely crafted KQL query for me to run that will show any malware related incidents dating back to the last 15 days. Okay? And as you can see here, it has processed a nice KQL query for us, and we can simply take that, copy and paste it into the query window over here, or we can simply just click on the play button here, and then it will run this query in the query window to the side here, where it will spit out the results. And as you can see, there are several alerts associated with malware dating back the last 15 days. Okay, so again, Copilot is just going to save analysts a significant amount of time in doing tasks like this, because, like I said, not everyone is familiar with KQL or experienced with KQL. So using Copilot to generate these KQL queries is just awesome. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so now that I've showed you some of the capabilities using Copilot within Defender XDR, I now want to show you some of the capabilities in Intune. Okay, so let's say, for example, we want to find some details on a specific device. Okay, so we want a little bit of a summary. Okay, so we can easily do that by going to the devices page, going to all devices, and let's just say that we want a summary of this first Android enterprise compliant device. Okay, so we're going to select that, and as you can see here, Copilot gives us a few options: explore device, compare to another device, as well as analyzing any error codes that might be associated with this Android enterprise device. So we want a summary of this device. Okay, so we're going to click on explore device, and Copilot gives us even more options to choose from. Okay, so there's the summarize this device. That's what we want, but we can also do apps on this device, so we can do managed apps or discovery apps. We can also do show policies that are assigned to this particular device, memberships, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we want to do a summary of this device. Okay, so we're going to choose summarize this device, and within a few short seconds, Copilot should give us a nice little summary of this Android enterprise device. Okay. Now, as you can see, Copilot has gave us a nice little summary of this device. So it's an Android, the manufacturer is a Samsung, model, serial, compliant state, all this good information. Okay, so we can stop here, or we can or we can keep going. We can look at some of the policies that are assigned to this particular device. Okay, so we can just click on this little button here, show policies assigned to this device, click on that, and we'll do configuration policies just for the fun of it. Okay, and then submit. And as you can see, it gave us a just a single distinct device configuration policy. Okay, so those are just a couple of examples of how you can use Copilot within Intune. Okay, it's very, very, very easy stuff. Okay. So we're now going to get into the last little portion of the demonstration. Okay, so I now want to touch on plugins. So why would we want to add a third-party plugin? Well, we'd want to add a third-party plugin because by doing so we can make Copilot more powerful. Okay, so we'll be able to do a lot more by adding these third-party plugins. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to add your own right now. Okay, so from the standalone portal, okay, from the prompt, we click on this little button here called Sources. So we're going to click on that. And we're going to go scroll all the way to the bottom to Custom, and then Upload Plugin. Okay, so we're going to click on that. Now, there are two different plugins that you can implement to Copilot. Okay, you can do a Copilot for Security plugin or an OpenAI plugin. For today's example, we're going to be doing a Copilot for Security plugin using a custom YAML file. Okay, so we're going to click on that, and notice how that it's asking for a YAML file. Okay, so first, I just want to show you what YAML file we're going to be looking at. Okay, so here's our YAML file here. Okay, so this is just a basic YAML file. Okay, and also this YAML file is how Copilot's going to determine what type of plugin it is and where its API is hosted. Okay, so as you can see, there's our name of the plugin, so it's going to be called VirusTotal IP Lookup, okay? And there's the display name that we're going to see in Copilot, and then a little description, supported auth keys, which is an API key, because this is an API plugin that we're implementing, okay? And authorization types, and as you can see down here, the Open API spec URL. Now this is where the VirusTotal API plugin is going to be hosted. Okay, so by implementing this YAML file, Copilot's going to know where to go to use this VirusTotal API. Okay, so we're going to add our YAML file. Okay, so we're going to upload. And we're going to find our YAML file, which is virustotalfinal.yaml. Okay, and we're going to add it. Now, after we've added our plugin, it's going to ask us for an API key. Okay, so where do we get this API key? Well, we get this API key from your VirusTotal account. Okay, so whether that be a paid version or just a free version, whatever you decide to use, you'll be able to access your API key. So I'm going to grab that now. So to get your API key from VirusTotal, it's very simple. So you just click on your account name and go to API key, and then show key, and then you grab it, and then we're going to add it here, and then say setup. Okay, plugin is saved. Okay, and as you can see down here, we have successfully added a third-party plugin called VirusTotal IP Lookup. Okay, so let's test it out. So to test your newly implemented plugin VirusTotal, we can simply just say, is the IP malicious? And what Copilot's going to be doing is, it's going to be looking at its built-in plugins. Now, hopefully, if it was set up correctly, which I'm pretty sure it is, it's going to use the VirusTotal IP lookup, as you can see here. Chose VirusTotal IP lookup. Okay. So this particular IP is registered to the in the United States, okay, and it's owned by BAI IP Services. Okay, so according to VirusTotal, the IP it hasn't been detected as malicious or suspicious across 90 engines that it uses. Okay, so this is evidence that the VirusTotal API is working within our Copilot environment. Okay, so pretty cool, right? So you can also add KQL plugins. Okay, so it doesn't need to be an API plugin. It can also be a KQL plugin. Okay. So now that I've showed you how to implement an API plugin, I now want to show you how you can implement a KQL plugin. Okay, so again, we're going to go back to Upload Plugin, and we're going to select Copilot for Security Plugin, Custom YAML file. Okay, we're going to upload it, and we're going to scroll to this ransomware lookup YAML. Okay, so we're going to add that. Now, before I add that, I do want to show you what this looks like. Now, this is not, I did not create this. I found this online. I just thought that this would be a really cool example to show you guys, because this is looking up ransomware within your whole environment. Okay, so it's going to be looking for, task kills, exfiltration, anything related to ransomware. Okay, and it's going to find this based off this KQL query here. Now, it's a super big KQL query, so we're not going to go all the way through it, but again, I did just want to show you how you can implement a KQL based plugin. Okay, so we're going to add that plugin added. Now, again, for this particular plugin, we don't need to add an API key or anything like that, because this is a KQL based plugin. Okay, so let's test it out. Now, to test this out, we can simply say, is there any ransomware activity within the environment? Okay. Now, Copilot for Security should be looking at the ransomware lookup plugin to determine whether or not there's any ransomware activity in this environment. Okay. So fortunately for us, there is no active ransomware in our environment. Okay, so why would we want a plugin like this? Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's ransomware activity. Maybe you're a team lead or a manager of some sort, and maybe you were hit with ransomware a month or two ago, and maybe you woke up in the middle of the night, some night afterwards, and you were like, I just want to make sure that no further ransomware activity is present in our environment. Well, you can simply just get on Copilot and simply run this type of plugin to determine whether or not there's any ransomware still present in your environment. Okay. So that concludes my little demonstration of some of the awesome capabilities that Copilot for Security has to offer through the standalone experience as well as the embedded experience. I just want to thank everyone for joining us today, and I'll see you during the live Q&A session. So thank you. Cheers.
That was great. And with all the exciting capabilities and benefits, right, we measured activities from our defenders and notably saw more accuracy in identifying complex malicious scripts, as well from time reduction within all the activities. So being able to transpose an incident into an executive report in minutes, explaining the most important details of an incident and how it happened to, and how it happened, being able to simplify it to all audiences who are going to be reading such reports right away at a much faster clip. So ultimately here, Copilot for Security, right? It brings together or brings the wealth of knowledge, right, to a wide array of personas across the platform. But as a managed service security provider, we can bring the expertise, the wisdom, and this is the better together story on how we are approaching it from, applying the use of Copilot for Security, as well as providing the wisdom and the expertise to help uncover and unlock defense at a much faster pace. Right. And with this, Bulletproof, we operate a 24/7 security operations center. So our team of analysts and consultants, right, we're staying on the bleeding edge, protecting hundreds of thousands of users worldwide, providing, consultancy, advisory, and remediation and response. We are AI ready, and we're looking to be your next AI ready partner. So thank you. And if you're here for the live session, we'll be heading into the Q&A. So thank you for your time.